All right, you know what it is. This was about John Gotti, man. John Gotti could not stand to sell gangster for nothing in the world. Let me say that. He couldn't stand to sell gangster. Now, let me tell you what a sell gangster is, but before I do that, I gotta bring the intro in. I All right, this was about John Gotti. I'm gonna tell you what a cell gangster is. A cell gangster is somebody that's behind the doors and all they do is talk crap all day and just aggravate you. You can't get no sleep. You can't make no moves because, they keep the police on the range. So I'm going to just give you a couple of examples. This what really used to piss John Gotti off. This is how he got in that fight, that I told you about, right? With the brother from Philly, that was running with D.C. car because we all blacks and we Muslims and we stay together. Now, a cell gangster is somebody that just talk crap behind the door, meaning he on the other side of the door, you doing your bid, you minding your business, and then, he'll yell down there, you talking to somebody, right? And he'll just start yelling, yo, whoa, 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 who got the score of the game? And you're talking. When people is talking in the whole, right, the special housing unit, that's equivalent to you having the microphone and it's your turn to speak. You understand? But then this dude would jump out there while somebody else is on the mic and just start and start talking. He hated that. Everybody, no one liked it. So now, while you up there, he might yell, what time coming? And they, or, he might just start rapping at the door. He banging on the door, and he's rapping, yo, your mother this, your mother that, your father that, and he's just screaming, and no one else can get the mic because he's screaming. John Gotti used to lay in his cell and be furious. He'll come out that wreck the next day and he'll tell, whatever race that person is, that was being a cell gangster, would tell whoever he think got the pull for that race and be like, yo, your homie just keep making noise. I can't sleep. I can't read my book. I was trying to talk to my family and kids, and, I couldn't get anything done, man. I mean, yo, talk to your man because, if not, I'm letting you know now I'm after see him. I'm after, send the ABs at him. Because, if y'all didn't know, John Gotti was, hitting the ABs off to look out for him. He hit him off after he got knocked out and all that. Well, not knocked out, but after he got in the fight, he hired the ABs to hold him down. So, he's trying to talk to him to get some understanding. But the cell gangster never come to the wreck. Never come to the wreck. So all you could do is talk to him when you go in there on the range. So when you're going on the range, you tell the police, yo, take me down to this dude's door. So you go down to the door and you be like, yo, you're stopping the other men from doing their time, man. Slow down on that yelling. When people is talking, let them, get their conversation off because, they got the mic. And he'll be like, man, F you. I ain't trying to hear that. Get away from my cell. And the police is standing there holding them because when you come in, you tell the police, yo, let me talk to cell 15 for a minute. So the police, you might be in cell 5 and they'll walk you all the way down to cell 15 because they trying to keep the peace on the range. And you down there, the police holding the dude handcuffs, and he's like, yo, you got to do this, do that, and dude is telling you F you, SMD, and he going off, and he telling you F your mother, he can do what he want to do, can't nobody tell him what to do, he here just like he here, and this is what's going on, right? So dude be like, yeah, all right, because, you can't hide behind the door forever, so dude goes back to the cell. So they now, police leaves off, done with it, leaves off the thing, and then every 30 minutes they come make rounds. When they come make rounds and they walk down, they look in the cells, make sure nobody's getting molested or anything going on, and, no drugs, nobody's putting a joint around their neck or nothing like that. So when they walk down, that's when we normally be talking on the range, but when the police come on the range, we'll yell, the tear wet, I mean water, like the Spanish people when I was in Washington Heights used to yell, agua, agua, when the police was coming. So agua mean the police was coming. So he'd be like, yo, the tear wet, the tear wet. So that's how we yelled it in the prison. So we yelled a tear wet, everybody stopped talking. Dude might have been throwing a line under the door from one cell to another to pass some magazines, some coffee, tobacco, stamps, whatever. Even a note saying that, yo, when we go to rec, we gonna get this dude that's playing cell gangster, even though he never go to rec, right? But the police come down, make their rounds. Dudes stop him at the door and be like, yo, why you bring him down here about that cracker? Whoa, 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 whoa. You know what I mean? You bring him down here, he telling me about another cracker. Now he telling the police the whole business. He dry snitching. He like, yeah, I don't care about that cracker. I don't care who he is. I don't care this. I don't care that. You know what I mean? And I got him listening to all this, And, he don't yell out the joint or nothing because, he was smooth about it. He'll sit back and he'll listen to dude calling him all kinds of crackers and F him and, F the mafia and, they all rats and, which they're not, because we got stand-up men. Let's give a round of applause to Joey Molino. Follow him. He on YouTube. If you want to know about sports, the picks for the football game or the sports games or whatever, check out Joey Molino, man, official gangster out of Philly, on Man Time. Let me say that, Like I said, I got to make time to go do an interview with Johnny anyway, but check, right? So, he's saying F everybody, So John Gotti's sitting back, he just listening to like, man, I can't believe this dude sitting here talking reckless like this. I'm gonna have to see this dude. So then now, the police leave off the tear and say, all right, just hold it down. So while the police walking off, he telling the police, F you too. You know what I mean? And take these with you on the way out. You know what I mean? And he fired all kinds of gunshots at the police, right? So now, chow time getting ready to come up. And the chaplain come on the tier. So when the chaplain come on the tier, he stopped the chaplain. You know what I mean? And the chaplain like, how you doing? Do you need a prayer? Do you need a Bible? And he's like, nah, I don't need a damn thing. You know what I mean? It's F you, F Jesus Christ, F everything that got to do with it. I don't care nothing about none of that. All your religion, you coming around here trying to push this false propaganda that you done took us from slavery and you this and that. And he's holding this long, drawn-out conversation about nothing. We call that a Lilliputious conversation. Lilliputious means small, minute. From, that word come from, the Lilliputians. Look it up. You know what I mean? I learned that while I was in the prison too. Like I said, I couldn't read or write when I went in. So he cussed out the chaplain. So the chaplain said, come here, let me say a prayer for you. Put your head on the door. You know what I mean? And then you hear the chaplain praying. This dude got his head on the door, having the chaplain pray for him after he done told him F Jesus Christ and this and that. And the chaplain is praying, and then the chaplain is done and he's saying, amen. And the dude's like, yo, you ain't finished, you chaplain. And he's like, yo, come on, we yelling out the tier. Yo, let the chaplain leave, man. Let him off the tier. And he's like, man, mind your business, man. It's between me and the chaplain. And everybody is furious because they want to get their hands on him. And then John Gotti back there, you hear him laughing. He's laughing. He's like, y'all can't even control one of your own, whatever race he on. That's how John Gotti used to do. He used to laugh at, y'all can't even control none of your own. That was the laugh he used to give, right? And, so now we waiting to eat. You know what I mean? Chaplain done came down, so then now chow time getting ready to come. They just did 4 o'clock count, and then here come the psych. So the psych come down, and now this dude stopped the psych and said, yo, psych, I think I'm gonna kill myself. And he's like, what? And he's like, you heard me? And he's like, oh, come on, what is it? What do you need to talk about? Do you have a death in the family? Do you need a phone call? And, the chaplain trying to talk him off the ledge. And he's like, no, I don't need nothing. The chaplain come down here with all the Jesus Christ crap. Screw Jesus Christ, screw this, screw that, and F this, mother F this, and everything is mother F and screw. So the psych is sitting there like, would you like to be on the call out so that we could have a one-on-one and I could pull you out? And he's like, yeah, chap, pull me out. I got a few things I want to tell you. So the chaplain is like, yo, come on, man, yo, tone it down a little bit. If you want to talk, tell me a little bit of what's going on. That way I could have whatever tools I need for you when I pull you out. Man, I don't need no tools. I don't need nothing. I just need you to get away from my cell with that bull crap. And the chaplain's like, well, you just told me to talk to you. You know what I mean? He's like, man, get away from my cell. Get away from my cell. So dude walks off, right? Chaplain walks off. He go to another joint. He go down the range and around the range. And the chaplain get ready to go out. He calls the police. He says, like, staff on dog block. Staff on dog block. And then he go dude calling the chaplain back. Everybody waiting to do their thing, you know what I mean, without the administration on the tier. And he's like, you know, chaplain, let me talk to you for a minute. Let me talk to you for a minute. So the chaplain come back and said, what is it, young man? And he's like, man, I'm telling you, you know, the way the system works, they locking up the black man. They've been dealing with the black man like this. They've been dealing with the black man like that. Or, you know, the white guy might be like, Hitler's number one. You know, Hitler did the right thing. Y'all don't know who he is. Y'all, you underestimate him. And they want a whole conversation about slavery or, you know what I mean, or Hitler. And then it might be a Native American. They start talking about, yo, chaplain, the chaplain come down here with all that after they done stole our land, they done gave us liquor, got us drunk, and took everything that we own. Now we ain't got nothing. They tell us we got to stay on the reservation, and whoop, whoop, whoop. And they hold this conversation. John Gotti back there laughing, but he never said nothing out of tear because he wasn't a tear gangster. So now, after that happened, right, the chaplain finally leaves. So now they bring the child down. So when they bring the child down and they get to the tear gangster cell, they hand him the tray. When they hand him the tray, the tear gangster, he sit there and he take the tray and he be like, yo, this tray ain't big enough, take this back. So the police don't want to argue with him, so they take it back, give him another one. And when they take it back, people looking out the door because they waiting on their tray. Now they can't use the tray. You know what I mean? Because they done took it and put it in the cell. He looked at it and gave it back, opened it up. So the police put it on the bottom of the car. Then the police give him another tray. He do the same thing. This man do that with maybe if it's 30 people on the tier, he do it with 20 trays before he finally pick one. So by the time they get down there, all the 20 trays is on the bottom, and you only got 10 trays on the top. 10 people got a chance to eat. Nobody else got a chance to eat. And this dude is sitting there talking crap to the police, right? So we looking at him like, yo, my dude, what's up? And the police like, yo, I'll be back. I got to get another tray, and I got to put him in the microwave. Now, dudes is starving, been in the cell because they eating, from meal to meal in the prison. You know how out here everybody working, paycheck to paycheck. They eating meal to meal because they ain't got nothing in their locker. Now they belly hitting their back, and here go the police saying, yo, I'll be back. I got to go warm the food up because this dude looked at 20 trays and took 20 minutes to look at 20 trays, cussing me out about how each tray look and why he don't want it, And the police, they just don't want no problem. They want to go home after 8 hours. So now everybody in there pissed off. So now he done ate because he got his tray. And dudes is talking because they trying to talk to take their mind off of what's going on, that they belly hitting their back, and, he start rapping on the door. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Or, Native Americans start chatting in his native tongue, or, white dude might start yelling, "Hail Hitler." This is all the stuff that's going on, right? And one thing I could say, that I haven't noticed when I was there, Nah, I can't say that. I haven't noticed it because they wasn't a part of my car, so I didn't really care. And me, myself, when I hear the Cell Gangsters, I just lay back, like John Gotti, and just listen to it. And that's how my time go by, because I just get something to eat until the food tray come back, right? So now dude is sitting there, and he leaves off the tea, And while we waiting on him to come back with the food, you know what I mean? Here comes a female officer. Female officer come walking out of chair. She come to the door. He say, let me see. I need some toilet paper. I need some writing paper. I need some pencils. I need some this and that. And he's sitting there, and he peeking all out the side of the door, trying to watch the female walk up the tier, sitting the back and forth for a whole bunch of stuff. And she's supposed to be the one getting the food ready. And now the food is even taking longer because this dude holding it up. And, dudes is in there hungry, his belly hitting their back. John got in there eating his chips like he watching a movie, laughing, and dudes is waiting on their food because they don't have the luxury, not everybody, but I mean, some of the dudes don't have the luxury, of having, food in their locker because they ain't got nobody sending them no money. Because when you get locked up and you get like in the shoe and you can't get to the phone to hear somebody's voice to say, hey, I need $20. Yeah, could you be there in prison asking for $20? How much of y'all just throw away $20? And everybody on here, 90% of the people up here, and probably 98% of the people up here know somebody that's in prison, and you won't send them $20. $20 is a lot of money in prison and go a long way. Because they sell candy bars for like $1.10. Dude could buy about 18 candy bars for that. You know what I mean? And turn around and sell the candy bars for 5 stamps a piece, which is double what it costs. Especially in the shoe, it go for 10 stamps for a candy bar. At night, it goes for 20 stamps, but they know dude is hungry. And the dude would send the line down and buy a candy bar. Now, shoot his line down, bought a candy bar. Dude tied the candy bar to the line. Dude pulling the line back down. And then the cell gangster, he throws his line out, pull it in and steal the candy bar. He eating the candy bar. And dude saying, yo, I never get that. You know what I mean? He said, man, I sent it down. And then whoever was looking out the door, because there's always somebody looking out the door just looking at the range because they don't want to look at the four walls to feel them closing in. So they look at the door, they be like, yo, yeah, such and such in this cell took it. You know what I mean? So you already know when they say that it's going to be a fight. They'll be like, nah. They'll be like, yo, man, well, I ain't get my joint, so we got to send it back down. Now he got to send it to the other side of the tier to pull it down where dude hopefully can't get to the line. And the dude is sitting there while the joint is going down. He running back and forth, throwing his line out, trying to pull the line in with the candy bar to steal the second candy bar. And this is what's going on. John Gotti get to the door. He look out. He start laughing. And he's like, look how they reduced us to live. Jaja was always saying something wise. He said, look how they reduced us to live. And we sitting in here passing a candy bar on the dirty prison floor to put it in our cell. Another rat bastard, flip-flop wearing in public troll. I added the flip-flop wearing in public troll. But he'd be like, another rat bastard that stole something off the line, you know what I mean? And everybody tell him, dude, yo, go to wreck, go to wreck. Dude don't want to go to wreck. You know what I mean? He ducking wreck by any means. So we like, nah, we ain't gonna go for that. You going to wreck, And dude is like, man, F you and your mother, this and that. Now they come down, they bring the tray. So now we eat the tray. So now when they come around and they collect the trays, this dude, he holds his tray. That's called jacking the tray, So he jacked the tray. When they bring the trays down, being that they plastic, and we used to make knives out of them by burning toilet paper to melt the plastic and then shape it with the sheets of the blanket and then file it on the ground to make it pointy. They wouldn't leave the trays in the cell, but this dude always held on to his tray. So when he held on to his tray, that means nothing else is happening for the rest of the night. They're not passing out no linen. You understand what I'm saying? They're not bringing you no toilet paper, no toothpaste, no writing paper, no pens, no envelopes. They're not bringing you nothing until that tray come out the joint. So he just shut down a whole jail for the joint. John Gotti sitting there and he looking out there and he said, man, I got plenty of paper. Y'all need to really get that dude in order, And he's like, you get me in order, you get me in order. And that's when John Gotti get off the door because he's not into the cell gangster crap, right? So he fall back. So now, right, the funny part about all this is, mind you, dude is being a cell gangster. Dude is rapping and yelling while dudes is singing and all that. And that's a big no-no, cause like from 10 o'clock at night to like 10 o'clock in the morning, it's like lights out and you try and keep it down. If dudes talk, they talk, low. They try and talk low to make it like they're trying to respect the people, other people on the tier, but they still want to talk. So they're talking, but they're not yelling. So you don't really mind because they're trying to self-check themselves to not talk too loud to disturb you. And then here go the cell gangster. Yo, I can't hear you, man. Talk louder. Like, dude, I wasn't talking to you. He said, nah, but finish the story. Man, I ain't talking to you. Don't nobody mess with you. Be like, man, F your mother. You know what I mean? That's what the cell gangster say. And John Gotti down there, you hear him just laughing like a mother, right? But what's ironic is, I don't know what was on John Gotti's mind this day. You know what I mean? That day when, but I'm going to make an assumption. Man, remember John Gotti had to fight because, the game was getting ready to start and he trying to get his bet put in, but somebody else was already putting their bet in, so they had the microphone, and John Gotti started yelling down to the ticket man, calling out his bets, and dude is like, yo, I got the mic, and John Gotti's like, man, screw you, and that's how that broke off. That's called being a cell gangster. So yeah, John Gotti indulged in that when he did that, and that's why he got the mitts put on him. But I just want y'all to understand that that's how prison go, man. It don't matter if you John Gotti, Lil Unique, or Little Joey, or Little Bobby, or whoever you are. You know what I mean? You fall and succumb to the same bull crap that's going on. But that's how, the cell gangsters work. And, let me tap out because I got things to do today, man. I just wanted to get this off my chest, let y'all know what a cell gangster was and how John Gotti couldn't stand the cell gangster, but then he pulled a cell gangster move and winds up getting in a fight. you know, with dude where he got whooped, you know what I mean? But, you know, just keep it at 100, man. But bottom line is, you know, John Gotti fought back, and that's what make him a man. Told him every time I see you, we gonna fight after that. So, you know, it is what it is, man. Let me tap out. All right.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. An Instagram page and a YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, make an audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spin a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horning uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yours. So we can give back to the youth them. Cause they the truth them. And bless up to all the root men.